It's no secret that Naruto, as a Jinchuriki, has a large amount of chakra. In fact, his chakra capacity may only be second to the Sage of Six Paths, Hagoromo. There's a number of contributing factors, such as Naruto's parents both having massive chakra reserves. However, having the fox sealed inside of him is the greatest contributing factor in his early growth, more so than anyone could probably realize. We all know that Naruto's seal is modified to allow the Nine-Tails chakra to mix with his own. It's been that way since he's had the beast sealed within him, and while that did influence his growth throughout the series, it should be noted that the influence of the Nine-Tails chakra on Naruto took place long before he was even born. You see, being the child of a kunoichi that's from a clan whose members are known for having massive amounts of chakra is one thing, but for that same kunoichi to also be the Jinchuriki of the strongest of the tailed beasts is something else entirely. Given the location of where the seal for a Jinchuriki is placed and how the integration of a tailed beast's chakra to the network of the Jinchuriki works, we could say that this most definitely has an impact on the development of the host and any additional occupants that the host carries. As proof of this statement, we can look to the most notable feature of one Naruto Uzumaki. You see those marks on his face? He was born with those, but that doesn't make them birthmarks. They're more of a unique trait that comes from consuming the chakra of the Nine-Tails. As far as we know, there are a total of 5 people who have these marks, and only 3 of these 5 people were born with them. The strangest part about this is that none of these 5 people were the Jinchuriki of the Nine-Tails when they got these marks. The fox has had a total of 4 Jinchuriki, and only one of those 4 has these marks. And it just so happens that this one is also one of the 5 people who got them without having to become a Jinchuriki first. This gives us a total of 8 people who have interacted with the chakra of the fox in some way, but only 6 of them have had direct contact with the fox and its chakra. So what's the deal here? How and why do they have these marks? And what does this have to do with Naruto's chakra capacity? To answer that, we have to look into the circumstances that led to them acquiring these marks in order to find out what is required to achieve this result. First, let's take a look at those who don't have these marks. We'll start with Mito Uzumaki. She's the first Jinchuriki of the fox. Now, we don't know if she became the Jinchuriki before or after having kids, though we could assume that she had more than one child, and that at least one of those kids were born while Mito was the Jinchuriki. This is because it's a known fact that the seal weakens during pregnancy and childbirth, so Mito would have been the first to know about it from first-hand experience. We don't know whether that child was born with those whisker marks or not. Also, we don't know if Mito frequently made use of the fox's chakra, but given that she's from the Uzumaki clan and is powerful enough to suppress the fox, I doubt that any chakra would have reached the child, and given that Hashirama is her husband, he may have also had a role in suppressing the fox since he's able to do that easily. She's the only Jinchuriki who's held the fox for the longest period of time, and she's not developed those whisker marks in that entire period. Next up, we have Kushina Uzumaki, Naruto's mother. Now, as an active member in the Hidden Leaf Shinobi forces, Kushina has had to make use of the Nine-Tails chakra throughout her service in order to defend the Hidden Leaf. And for all of that time that she made use of that chakra, she never developed those whisker marks. They would only manifest when using a certain amount of the Nine-Tails chakra that only lasts for as long as she uses the chakra. She's had the fox with her since she was in the academy, so she's had it for, I'd say, more than a decade. We could also say that her active use of the Nine-Tails chakra may be a contributing factor to Naruto having those whisker marks. As for Minato being one of the 4 Jinchuriki, he was locked in eternal combat with the other half of the fox that he took with him. After being brought back during the war, we can see that he doesn't have these whisker marks. Now, let's have a look at those who do have these whisker marks. Starting with these 2, Kinkaku and Kinkaku. These 2 were shinobi from the Hidden Cloud Village, and they have a pretty interesting backstory. You see, apparently they're descendants of Hagoromo. They have possession and make use of Hagoromo's legendary weapons and tools. As for how they got their set of whisker marks, they were apparently eaten by the fox, and they stayed in there for about 2 weeks. While they were in there, they ate the flesh of the fox. Doing this eventually gave the fox indigestion, and he ended up spitting the brothers out. Now, you see, Kinkaku and Ginkaku from their experience managed to gain powers similar to that of a Jinchuriki, and this is because tailed beasts are made of chakra, and essentially eating the flesh of one is basically the equivalent of eating chakra directly. It should be noted that not just anyone can eat the flesh of a tailed beast and benefit from it, let alone survive. It's most likely due to Kinkaku and Ginkaku being descendants of Hagoromo that allowed them to benefit from eating the flesh of the Nine-Tails for 2 whole weeks. Anyone else would have died from taking a single bite. Next up, we have Naruto Uzumaki, the main character of the series and the child of the previous Nine-Tails Jinchuriki, and also the current Jinchuriki of the Nine-Tails. Somehow, his case goes beyond Ginkaku and Kinkaku. You see, the effect a tailed beast has on the child of its host depends on how the seal functions. and perhaps it also depends on how frequently the host uses the beast chakra during the pregnancy. One important factor is also that the seal of a Jinchuriki weakens during the course of the pregnancy, and is at its weakest during childbirth. Taking this into consideration, we could say that from the moment that Naruto was conceived, he's been feeding on the chakra of the Nine Tails, over a period of 9 months. Now, compare that to the 2 weeks that Ginkaku and Kinkaku spent inside the Nine Tails. It doesn't stop there. People often forget that Naruto's seal is different from the one Kushina and Mito had. This seal was modified to allow some of the Nine Tails chakra to mix with Naruto's chakra. That means that he technically never stopped feeding on the Nine Tails chakra. This must have further boosted the growth of his chakra reserves, as we've seen him create 1000 shadow clones with shoddy chakra control, meaning that he could have potentially created a significantly greater amount of shadow clones if he had better chakra control. And finally, we have Boruto and Himawari. We're focusing more on Boruto than Himawari since he's an active shinobi in his series, but since they're siblings, some of what I say will be the same for Himawari. Now, in terms of chakra, we don't know just how much he has, but given who his parents are, we can say that he has a lot of chakra, but as you can see, he too has whisker marks. That means the influence of the Nine Tails carries over to Boruto, although to a lesser extent by comparison to Naruto, since Hinata is not the Jinchuriki of Kurama, the Nine Tails. So Boruto wouldn't have been able to feed on Kurama's chakra the same way that Naruto did. Basically, the whisker marks that these two got are the result of being Naruto's tailed beast chakra infused seed. While it seems that getting a trait from a tailed beast is exclusive to direct descendants of Hagoromo, there is however one outlier. Gaara, who has the Jinchuriki of Shukaku, has a trait that he got from his tailed beast. You see those rings around his eyes? He got those from Shukaku. We don't know if he may also be related to Hagoromo, but it's unlikely. However, Gaara does have red hair, so he may be related to the Uzumaki clan. In any case, with all this information, we can conclude that there is a difference between using and consuming or being infused with the chakra of a tailed beast, given that a Jinchuriki can use the chakra of a tailed beast without having a permanent effect on the appearance of the host. Anyway, that's all I have to say for this video. Let me know what you think in the comments.